given all the noise that I was talking yesterday, about all we got to do is get it to 2-2.
2-2.
I'm actually disappointed that I didn't get that text. That's what I was actually waiting for it. I looked at my phone. I'm like, maybe the old man's asleep. I thought I was gonna get it. So, I was fully expecting you to gloat to start the show. That's why I'm just gonna sit here and take it.
I'd just rather do it in front of the family. I'd rather do it in front of the family here. Look, man, come on. You had to know. You had to know when LeBron James got off that bus, before he even knew about the text message that he sent to his teammates, and the text message on the group chain was simply "must win" in text. Must win.
Definitely.
But before you even knew about that, when my man got off the bus wearing the Kobe Bryant T-shirt, I think you knew you were in trouble then, right? Is that when you know?
No, listen. Listen. Hold on. Let's be accurate about this, okay? Because I just wanted to make sure I had this right. 3:05 left in the game. I'll tell you exactly my viewing experience. 3:05 left in the game. All right.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler had, I believe, a corner three. And my wife could tell you, I'm watching the game in bed. I'm like, come on, Jimmy. It's 90-88. It's 90-88. So you can talk about how LeBron showed up to the game.
Right.
And he looked great. And I know he meant business. And his text message, which I definitely want to get into, his text message suggests that he meant business last night.
Right.
But it was 90-88, and Jimmy Butler had a wide open three that he missed. I say, come on, Jimmy. And he missed. I'm like, damn, they needed that. At the other end, the ensuing possession, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hits a three-pointer.
Say that.
And now it's 93-88. I'm like, damn.
Say that again. Say that again.
So that's what I'm saying. The Heat did not get beat. The Heat did not get beat by LeBron and Anthony Davis last night. They got beat by Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. 15 points, outscoring the entire Heat bench. That was the game. That was the game right there. That was the story of the game.
Of course it was a game. And this is why I want to continue to talk trash to you, because that's what I told you. I told you. You wouldn't listen. I told you about the LA Lakers. This is not a team that is just all about Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There are some forgotten Lakers. I got it there somewhere. Lakers we forgot. You see, I had it written down. The Lakers we forgot.
Forget about them. Ain't nobody forgot. Stop it. Stop it.
If you didn't forget about them.
We know they play for the Lakers. No,
what did you say? Them.
Okay, that's better. That's more accurate. That's more accurate. Yes.
Okay.
I dismissed them. I disrespected them. Yes, you're right.
Let me rewrite that in real time. The Lakers, MS dismissed. Okay, Michael Smith dismissed.
That's more like it. Yes, I knew about him. Just didn't.
Because this team, this has happened the entire series, and it's funny how we do this. And we do this in all sports. So in the NBA Finals, it really has come down to the Miami storyline is they've been overlooked. They got Jimmy Butler, who's a superstar. Tyler Hero is an emerging superstar. Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the league. Pat Riley, great team builder. Okay, that's the Miami story in a nutshell, right? Did I get to all the major things from Miami? The Lakers, hey, LeBron about to win his third championship with another team. Anthony Davis finally in the finals. The Lakers about to tie the Celtics for all-time finals, all this stuff. Did the Lakers build themselves? Do they coach themselves? I haven't heard much about Frank Vogel. I mean, I take Eric Spoelstra over Frank Vogel, but Frank Vogel is a very good coach. He's not some washed-up, sorry coach who's along for the ride. And how about their general manager? I remember Magic Johnson going on TV, just ripping him up and down. I had to leave because of Rob Pelinka. Oh, Rob wanted my job, which may be true. But Rob Pelinka has done a pretty good job. And I remember when they got LeBron and some of these complimentary players were brought aboard, and people were saying, well, why are they doing this? Why are they bringing in Rajon Rondo? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, what's he going to do? What are they doing? This is not going to work. It has worked. The Lakers that either we forgot or Michael Smith dismissed are one win away. One win away, and I don't care what time. I'm texting you constantly. I'm gonna text you on the hour.
I'll be on silent mode. I'll be on
Friday night
on sleep mode. Whatever the mode is that you put on your phone will be on. So you can text me. Text away. That doesn't mean I'm gonna answer.
And here's the other thing, Mike.
That's fine.
Can I tell you something else?
Some of us have other things to do on our Friday night than text you. Go ahead. I'm listening. Yes,
I was gonna say
this is your time. This is your time. Cook. Go ahead.
I was gonna mention that. And I was saying this to my beautiful wife earlier today. I said, you know what I miss? You know what I miss? I miss date night. I miss going out, date night, without the mask and the social. I'm just talking about just going out, just having a good time.
Not a care in
the
the
chatter
world.
of other people, the music playing, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, since I don't have date nights anymore on Friday nights, what I'm going to do is just text you and just harass you.
Okay,
I'm going to take out my frustrations on you on Friday night when the Lakers clinch.
I got you.
So
no, listen, I'm enjoying this actually because I was prepared for it and I had it coming. I'm enjoying this because I know you're not a Boston guy. Well, I know you're not a Boston guy. I know you're not a Boston guy, but you are associated with Boston. Boston has been your home for most of your adult life. And I would venture to say that in the history of Boston sports, never has anybody in Boston been this enthusiastic about a Lakers championship.
Never.
So this is actually rather entertaining for me. This is really
the whole
amusing.
Region. The whole region is sick. The whole region is sick.
Right, except for you. Because I think you were from LA at this point.
So get ready because I've seen this before. Okay, when Phil Jackson won, let's see, it must have been in 2000 when they beat the Pacers. So I think that was title number 10 for Phil Jackson. I could be mistaken, maybe somewhere in there.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
But when he won the title that got him past Red Auerbach, man, you want to hear some hate? You want to talk about hating? Oh, man, you have never heard so much hate.
Celtics fans about to be salty. Well, Celtics fans, I'm sure they're going to assign an asterisk next to this anyway.
Yeah.
Like, nobody cares about your bubble championship. Yeah, nobody. You beat the 5th seed, whatever. Even though they lost to said 5th seed. But no, actually, you got to admit this, though, man. Like, just at least give me this. Number one, you've already crowned the king in the Lakers, understandably so. You've already crowned him. It's 3-1. LeBron's 3-0 with an opportunity to clinch. When he smells blood, he closes. All right. The Heat made you sweat. Like, think about it. Like, when we had Mark Spears and Gary Washburn on the show yesterday, I thought Mark Spears dropped an unintentional, clever lead. He was like, the Lakers are playing with fire, messing around, giving the Heat confidence. I'm like, yeah, that's good. And you got to admit, the Heat it's 3-1, but it's been an entertaining 3-1. Game 1 notwithstanding. It's been, for the most part, an entertaining 3-1. And the Heat have made the Lakers sweat. And I'm not so sure this doesn't still go 6. I think you picked the Lakers in 5. And you may ultimately be right with your pick of the Lakers championship. Meanwhile, I picked the Heat in 6, not looking so good. The Heat ain't going to show up and roll over. I think you know that. So it's going to take another one of those locked-in games from LeBron James to close this thing out and to kill Jimmy Butler and the Heat. Would you mind if I transition to LeBron? Because I do want to love on LeBron.
Go ahead. Transition to LeBron. But before you do that transition, I want to give credit where it's due, though. I believe, and if one of them will say, all right, you got it wrong. But I believe it was Chris Haynes who said they'll win in 5, but it's going to be like Oklahoma City versus Miami, where it was that kind of 5-game series where the games were close, but ultimately they win in 5. And so I'll give credit. I think it was Chris Haynes or Vinny Goodwill. One of them said it, and I think they're absolutely right. Close to it. You're right. It's been entertaining.
Let's talk LeBron. And let's play what he said after the game, that must-win text that he sent to his team group chat.
When I woke up from my nap this morning after our team meeting, I just felt that vibe. I felt that pressure. I felt like for me personally, this was one of the biggest games of my career, and just wanted to relay that message to my teammates, the type of zone I was in, the type of moment it was, because I just know how great of a team that we're playing against. And after the Game 3 win, that confidence that they had, that they still have, even after tonight's loss, they're just a gritty, so damn well-coached team. But I feel like if we want to be a championship ball club, if we really want to be a championship team, then we gotta have that same grit and that same attitude. So I was just my mindset, kind of still in it. Obviously, it's my mind kind of working right now.
And I love it. I don't know if he's getting better at this or I'm just more locked in or in tune into what he's saying. I love listening to LeBron and his lessons on leadership now more than ever. We heard a glimpse of that in the Western Conference Finals when he talked about having to match Denver's desperation and adopting their mindset. Like, we can't lose this game. I want to end this series tonight in that closeout game. And the mindset, a couple of things about his mindset jumped out to me. So I got a couple of takeaways from that. One is I laugh at the people who over the years have talked about LeBron's lack of a killer instinct or LeBron not being clutch. There's something clutch to coming through.
Update those files, right?
They got to
update them files.
Well, but think about that finite definition of clutch. We've evolved from one shot, and we've gotten to the last 5 minutes of a game, score within 5 points. Or we've even gotten to, a big game to stave off elimination or Game 7 performance overall, which LeBron has plenty of big game performances. But sometimes it's a near triple-double with 6 turnovers. Sometimes it's the mindset that you go into it as a leader and say, hey, I know what's at stake here. And if, like Michael Smith said, we fool around and let the Heat get to 2-2, this series could turn. So there's something about seeing a situation and knowing I'm going to squash this comeback before it even gets started. There's a saying in sports that good teams don't win close games, they avoid them. Sometimes killers don't get into situations where they got to rescue their team. Sometimes, superheroes say, you know what, let me avoid a situation altogether, get us to 3-1. Well, we got an opportunity to close this out and not fool around with this team. I got a second takeaway, but I'll pass it to you. I don't want to pound the rock too much. But I got a second takeaway from that comment from LeBron. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear your second takeaway, but before we hear it, I do want to kind of jump onto that leadership pile. And that's the thing that impresses me the most about LeBron James. He is a leader, and I think I told you this story before. He has been a leader since he was in high school. Way back, long time ago, I had to do a story for the Chicago Tribune. How about that? Old school. 2001.
One of your 5 stories for the Chicago Tribune.
29.
You had less than a cup of coffee in Chicago. 29 bylines.
29.
That's the shortest chapter of your career story.
And about half of them on the Bears. Shout out Jim Miller, Shane Matthews, the quarterback. Anyway, but one of the stories I did for the Chicago Tribune was on a 16-year-old LeBron James. And what stood out to me more than anything was how his teammates came to him, not to the coaching staff, but came to him and asked him, hey, how are we supposed to run this play? Well, why isn't this play running the way it's supposed to? And at that time, he was still playing high school football. He was an all-state wide receiver. Imagine LeBron James coming down the seam. No, thank you.
Oh, I can see it.
Okay. But he was an all-state wide receiver. So they had a playoff game that night. He wasn't there at the first half of practice, but the second half of practice, he came in and the energy level picked up. Everybody was communicating. You could just feel the collective IQ of the room rise. So he has been a leader since he was 16, and his leadership now just jumps out at me. That's why I was confident that they were going to win this series, not just because they're the more talented team, and they are, but a leader can tell somebody to do something they don't necessarily want to do, or a leader can make you see something that you didn't see it before. I'm making you see it. I'm making you feel something that you didn't feel before. I think he's very good at that. Pass back to you, Michael Smith. Bounce pass.
Yeah, I mean, just to have a must-win mentality when, as you know, must-win is thrown around too loosely. Because a must win, well, if you lose, then you still got a chance tomorrow. So it's not really a must win. You know what I mean? So that's why we can't use that too liberally. But here's LeBron James adopting that mindset, calling it one of the biggest games of his career. Somebody who's got so little left to accomplish, nothing left to prove. Adopting the mindset that this is the biggest game of my career. Like, being in the moment like that is really powerful. And it's such a privilege to watch him lead. And actually, what you said, you're getting me the ball right in my spot, because that's what I wanted to get into. We've often joked a lot of times, or some people actually, use it as an insult, is that LeBron, thinks he's the coach or that he's a difficult person to coach. I reject that. I think that makes him, I would imagine, a pleasure to coach, or if nothing else, a privilege to coach, because he, keeps the actual coaches accountable and is a coach on the floor. But, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but that's what I do.
Go ahead.
He's nowhere close to retiring. I'm not trying to put him out to pasture. He looks like he could do this for another 5 years at minimum. But listening to him lead is such a treat. And listening to how he communicates, bro, you know what I would love to see him do in his next chapter? I mean, I know he's got business ventures and entertainment goals and a family to continue raising and philanthropy and I Promise School. I know he's got a lot. Man, I would love to see him try coaching. And I would love to see how many rings he can win as a coach. In fact, I would love to see if he could be the next Jerry West. I mean, could he be somebody who excels as an executive? People want to talk about the comparisons to Michael Jordan. We know MJ has not gotten it done as an executive. No, I would love to see LeBron.
Has not.
Yes, to say the least. That's a nice nice way of putting it. I would love to see LeBron James make a run at a handful of rings as a coach or as an architect. Could he be Pat Riley? Could he take all the lessons he's learned over the years? And because you know how a lot of great players have a difficult time transitioning into coaching because obviously the players can't meet their standard. He's the type of guy that I think could get that out of every player, from the best player to the 12th player.
And real quick, because I know we got some other stuff we want to get to, but real quick on that, you said two things. Let me just highlight those. One, LeBron with coaching and like how he's got that mind, he's got that memory. Just like the other day we talked about it. Yeah. Remember, he was talking about Dallas. Oh, yeah, it was game 2. Dwayne Wade hit a shot in front of their bench, and then we thought we were going to win the series, and they came back and they won the game, won the series. So he just remembers these little things. But Mike Brown, his coach for 5 years in Cleveland, told me a great story about LeBron. He said, you would have to, he said, I need to come into that meeting. I'd have to be on point because LeBron would notice every little thing. And if I got one thing wrong, he's going to point it out. And so it made me a better coach and made me pay more attention to detail because I needed to stay sharp with this guy. So I agree with you, Mike. It's not necessarily a negative. It takes you to another level if you approach it in that way. Now, if you're an insecure person, okay, it's going to be a problem for you because it's not just about LeBron James challenging you. You got deeper issues that are far beyond a player saying that's not right.
He takes you to a different level. He makes you better. I just imagine a whole different GOAT conversation where it's like we've already talked about how he's distinguished himself from Jordan or Kareem in the path that he's forged. Imagine a whole different GOAT conversation if he becomes maybe the most successful or decorated figure, not just player, but figure in NBA history. If he could add a fistful of rings, as a coach, as an executive, as a team builder, whatever it is. I just hope he's still imparting these gems, this free jewelry that he's giving out. I hope he's still doing that well after he's
I like it.